Hey, good people. This is Sharika, EB, and Sabrina. You're listening to The Kickback. Glad you decided to pull up.
Yo, what's good, Kickback family? I hope y'all doing good. We are in the beautiful month of August, and for me, the only thing that August means is summer camp is over, and we are another month closer to the end of the year. I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe you can't hear it. I don't know. Maybe you're just like, he sounds a little different, but I am ecstatic to just be recording with two of my favorite people. I'm here with Sabrina and Sharika. This is your lovely Kickback family. I don't know if you can't hear it in my voice. That's my tip check. I don't know, whatever number you want to give that excitement or that joy, that's where I'm at today. And there's a multitude of songs that I can give y'all, but I'm gonna give y'all a throwback that I gave y'all not too long ago. But it's just that Maverick City and that Kirk Franklin, bless me, bless me, bless me. Guy has been doing some great things for me and my family. I don't know when y'all gonna know about it, but you'll know about it soon enough. But that's about the only thing I can say right now, just because I don't want, the cat got my tongue. I'll just say that. But I'm feeling good. Sabrina, Sharika, what's y'all temp like? How y'all feeling?
EB, I will say, yes, just hearing the energy in your voice, having you back on, you have been missed, dear friend, and you and your wife are one of the most beautiful couples I've ever seen. The Kickback, if you follow our Instagram, you will have seen we had some great fun at a dear friend's wedding this past weekend, and EB and his wife, they were giving me Beyonce and Jay-Z vibes. EB came through with a beautiful... EB can dress, period, even if he's wearing a t-shirt, basketball shorts, and sneakers. I guess you would consider yourself a sneakerhead, right, EB?
Yeah. I don't like to, but
no,
I have a lot of
shoes. Yes, he is. Yes,
okay. So it's effortless, and it's not it's never too matchy, but it's just right. EB, you got swag. Your wife drips with just beauty, and it was great seeing you. Let the podcasters know, let us know at least one highlight for the summer. We did mention, I mentioned I was praying for you because I didn't want to speak for Sharika, but we know what a beautiful ministry you do in the summer. So is there one highlight you can share with us?
Of course. There's a lot. One of them was I got a chance to kick it with Sharika for a week, so that was fun. So not saying our week to weeks weren't like our week to week recording or just time in the office. Of course, it's not the same, but in Sharika, I don't know if she had talked about it on the bonus episode because y'all know I don't be listening. No beef.
That's fair.
But I'm gonna keep it real. I got to be honest. But I know the week that she was there, she got a glimpse, and she's been she's worked on a summer staff before. She's been helping on, I would say, the leadership side before, so she know what camp life can be like. But just those waking up 7:30, 8 o'clock days and not going to sleep till midnight. Like if we walked out of the office at midnight, it was like a high five. But that was rare and never. But one highlight for the summer outside of that would definitely be. I'll give you two quick ones. One is the opportunity for my wife to be there just about the whole summer outside of 2 or 3 days. That's a plus because I didn't feel like it wasn't how it was in past summers where she wasn't around. And then another one was we had a camp this summer called Teen Camp where it was just individuals 13 to 17 years old who were at our camp, and then no fancy stuff, no music playing, no extra long-winded sermon. I want to say Jonathan spoke for about 10-15 minutes, and then Anita did just kind of like a 30-second to a minute spiel. And to see this group of people who attend some of our churches in the state of Florida, and some of who we would consider our community kids, they attend either youth programs or they attend some form of social services outreach that we provide, like a vacation Bible school or back to school bash or harvest festivals. And they was at camp, and watching them flood the altar and in the best way have real life situations, because sometimes I don't go to pray with people for the altar because I know people got to handle whatever they got to handle on their own. But then when a few of them was like, hey, EB, can you come pray? And then they're talking about literally my little sister getting abused by my dad sexually, and I don't know how to handle that. I want to kill him, but I know that's not the right thing to do. But I also don't want him to just keep on doing this to my sister, or it'll be like stepdad. Let me take that back. Still don't make it no difference. It shouldn't be happening at all. But then it's and my mom allows it basically by not saying that she's lying, but I told her that this is happening. Watching some of you humans, human beings, be harsh and cruel to our brothers and sisters within the LGBTQ community, where some of them are having, and I say some because it was like 2 or 3 people who I spoke to, who are having suicidal ideations because of the way that they're treated. And that just frustrates me, because I can only imagine what an adult can do. Not saying it's a difference from a kid or adult fully, but I'm thinking of a developing mind who's still trying to figure out not only who they are, or even being comfortable in who they are, but seeing a world tell them everything they think they are is completely wrong. And they're battling, am I worthy enough to live? And then some people just saying, man, this was the first time I heard the story of Jesus. And like, I love this place because I actually feel like people care about me and not what I have or what I have to offer. But that was just teen camp. And of course, every camp had its own highs and lows, but that would definitely be my highlights from the summer. And then some of those kids, you know, we've all worked on summer staff. And this could go for anybody who's in some form of ministry or teacher or leadership position, where you're like, dang, like you seem so hard or have a hard shell on the outside. Like, where was this on like Monday or Tuesday? So in a week span, you're talking 4 or 5 days for kids to find me as just regular old EB, trustworthy enough to share some of their challenges and some of their heartbreaks. And those same things, I'm confident, breaks God's heart as well. So really is just my encouragement to all people. Love well. Like, like however you do that. And I would say the best way to do that is the way that Jesus does that. But love well and be the change who you wish to see in this world, because there are people who are hurting and they really just want you to listen with your whole heart and not listen half-heartedly. I guess that's what I can put it. But I know that was kind of long, but that was probably one of my highlights.
Wasn't too long at all. Love to hear it. At first I got sad because I was like, not the highlight turned to the low light. I'm with the kid wanting to murder the stepdad. Amen for that. Out of control. But one thing that does give me hope in that particular situation is God is a God of justice and vengeance. And side note, not that we should even be going down this road, but even when I think about the Emmett Till decision to not prosecute that lady, I said, okay, maybe in this life she won't be prosecuted, but she will be prosecuted. Amen.
Well, she might be prosecuted in this life, because you know people looking for her. They just had to move to nursing homes.
No, because if they let George Zimmerman live still, then they gotta leave the old white lady alone.
Nope,
okay?
Get her out of here.
Get George first. I've always wondered,
all of them,
gangsters.
All of them.
George don't have a bullet to the knee yet. How can he could just walk around living life? I don't understand it. But this is getting kind of dark. So, Sharika, what's your tip?
Well, my tip is all over the place. When I first heard EB's joy and excitement, my tip was up. Then EB shared, and I was like, oh, that is heartbreaking. But also, the truth of the matter is there is joy, because you know what? Like you said, God is a God of justice and vengeance, but also God is a God of grace. So all those things are beautiful and to be celebrated. But as Sabrina was talking at EB, I need you to drop where you get that. I mean, when I tell y'all, I had this green suit that EB was wearing. If you was on the Insta, you seen the suit. If you're not on the Insta, get on the Insta just for the suit alone. I don't care about anything else we ever posted. But that green suit was beautiful, and he had a little gold tie, and you didn't see his wife, but she was in a gold dress. And like Sabrina was saying, they were we're the couple of the year, of the century. And I love to see, Evie, where do you get a green suit from?
So that one came from Express Man for about $120. I don't know if y'all know this, but I am a bargain shopper. I shop for low price. Now, sometimes I have to do what I got to do, but slide to Express Men's. Shout out to the outlets. They had the pants in stock, but I'm the type where I need all of it at once. So I paid for it, which I usually don't like paying for stuff and getting it shipped to my house when I'm at a store. I like to walk out with my stuff just because all types of stuff can happen. But I got it from Express Man, and it was like I want to say like $120, but then with tax it was like $130 something. That's for the jacket and the lovely pants. The gold bow tie came from Amazon. It was just a regular, clip-on tie. Clip-on bow tie, and then the white shirt came from Wally World, Walmart special.
All right. See, y'all, it's not expensive to look like money. Okay. You can be a bargain shopper and still look like money. But I wanted to say, you know what? I love the one. Green is my new, like, it's been my new color for a while now. But I'm like, I love the chances on color. I love a black suit. It's classic. But, lately blue has been coming out. I've been seeing a lot of people in the navy suit. Love that too. But also, experiment with the colors. I think I've seen you in a mauve suit. I mean,
It
as
was
Jay-Z would say,
gorgeous. Yes, I remember that one.
you got to put out the colors out there and try. Just, you know what, guys, just try different things. All of us, men, women, you know what, we all get stuck in a style, but try to do different things because you never know how it can turn out. That was a very long aside, but yes, we've had a great summer. I did go down to camp for a week. When I tell you that first night, we was up to after 2 a.m. Your girl is old, and I was like, wow, I can't sustain this all week. But it did start getting better. And there was one night I was up in my room around 11. I said, look at God. But it was a great time, great experience to be with the young people. EB said he can't think of nothing else for the month of August. Our kickback anniversary happened just a few days ago. So we're celebrating that. There's a lot of good things the Lord is doing. So my song is Joy. It's an old song, but it's by the Newsboys. And it also is a throwback to me for summer. For the 1 year at camp when I was younger, I had to be a summer camp counselor. I did not want to be. I was in the dining room for the most of the time because I really didn't want to be with them kids like that. And I was head dining room hostess, and then I wanted to come back as head dining room again, but they were like, we don't got enough counselors. So they put me in a cabin, and every morning with my kids, I would turn up this song, Joy by the Newsboys, to the fullest capacity. And that's how I would wake my cabin up every morning. They hated me. And then by like 2 days before the end, I was like, let me give them a break. It's like worship day or whatever it was. Let me give them a little soft. It was like, where is the song? And I was like, see, y'all love it. And so that's also my song because it reminds me of summer, but also it's a great song. It says, you give me joy that's unspeakable, and I like it. And I like it. And that is the Lord. He does give me joy that's unspeakable. And you know what, God, I like it, and I'm grateful. That's my tip.
Love it. Well, while Sharika is over here giving God thanks for joy, I'm over here dropping it like a thotty because that's my tip. I am 85. I usually, when I'm in a great mood, I'm like, oh, sunny 75. But I feel like a little hotter today. Beyonce's album came out and it was amazing. No skits. Every song is everything. And my temp is Church Girl by Beyonce. Love it so much. It's just this energy. Like, yes, we're church girl, but we like to have fun. We like to dance. And I do say but because a lot of times growing up, the kids at school, I will admit I was a little bit extra. I went from going to a little charter school that my mom taught at to being thrown out to the wolves, in my opinion, having to sit on the back of the bus with all the little thuggy kids. And they were like, oh, I would take what in my church, they have a 5-year Bible study program for teens and middle schoolers. I took my little Quirkette Bible right on the back of the bus. They'd be like, why do you have a Bible? Why this, why that? I was like, this will protect me from the foolishness. Just witnessing the people in the back of the bus, and it was crazy. Like saw somebody get stabbed in the neck with scissors. People were getting fingered on the bus. Yes, I went to I'm from the hood, so I guess that doesn't matter. Jack Daniels, that's how I knew what that was, because they would have little bottles of it on the bus. They would have Black and Mouse. That's how I know. And this was middle school, so it was very much wild. But because of that, people are like, oh, church people are uptight, Yeah, we might not, want to engage in all things, but some things that are just fun in life, I'm taking back for the Lord. Satan can't have twerking. It's ours now. And and that has been my summer vibe. We went to 3 weddings this summer. We went to the beach twice on the opposite coast of Florida. I just had a really good time enjoying my state, enjoying all the things. Have not found an ice cream truck yet. I don't know if it's the pandemic or if that was just something from my youth that has since died out, but I did try a new ice cream place, Bright Ice. It was good, but they don't do any roll-ins. And I love a roll-in. Cold Stone has me like spoiled. So I'm like, so no nuts or nothing, just the regular ice cream flavor? Interesting. So I did go there. I tried a few new, like I have such a sweet tooth. So I tried a few new sweet places, and I'm just very, very happy. And I'm very thankful for Beyonce and this album. And I can't believe it's the first of 3. I'm also very thankful that the Breakfast Club ended, because I'm like, is the kickback coming forward? Are we taking their place? I saw people on Twitter saying, oh, you know what? We need Black podcasters. Hello, here we are. So tell everybody.
What?
Oh, you didn't, girl.
The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne, Envy, and Angela Yee. Breakfast Club, you don't know?
Yeah, Angela Yee tweeted yesterday. She was basically like, that's a wrap, girl. It was trending.
I don't be knowing about the trends, girl, because I don't be knowing what's going on the interwebs.
I don't even have a Twitter, girl. I be looking at the shade room. I'm not gonna lie. Don't judge me, y'all.
I can't believe it.
Yes, and people are like, "What are we gonna listen to now?" The kickback. We're not giving y'all every day, weekdays, but we give y'all this once a month. And go ahead and give us the listens. We'll appreciate it. EB, did you know?
Yes. So it's not like one. I would say it's 2 things. One, it's not official.
It's
I
not?
know she tweeted. And I say it's not official just because they've always had these type of discussions. If you follow them in any way, it's a possibility that the Breakfast Club could remain and one of the 3 people might not be a part of it. If you watch them close enough, you'll see that it's moments where some of them are not there and it's still business as usual. And it's not just only because of scheduling conflicts, but it's because of contract negotiations. So if you can go back, like when some people might tell you like, oh, I've been knew this was coming. Nobody technically knows unless you're in the room with these individuals most times. But you'll have somebody like Charlamagne the God was like, it's time. Like he would say, him and Envy would always say, it's time for me to give my spot to the new people. Like I can't be here forever. I've been doing this for X amount of years. And then other times he was just like, it's all about the paper. Like I came back, and he was like on the thing, he would say, like, I came back because y'all said, like, let's make it work, at least one more run. But he was like, when this contract up, if the number ain't right, then like I got my other stuff going on. Like all my Black Effect Network podcast with all those podcasts that's on that, writing books, being on TV. Same thing with Envy, like from just all his real estate stuff and his podcast with his wife. Same thing with Yee, her personal podcast, her TV appearances, her still doing a lot of hosting gigs or whatnot. So that's part of what you see, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out because EB does not know. But I did see her tweet yesterday because she is somebody who I follow. But she said the Breakfast Club is officially over, or as you know it, or something like that. So I'm interested if she's done, and the other 2 will still continue because their contract might be good, or is it somebody else? Is it Charlamagne gone and her and Envy? Or is it all 3 of them and they're just changing? Like, is it every other day? Is it once a week? Like, it's a few things. So it will be interesting how it all plays out.
Words do mean things, and you're right. She did say, "As you know it," so it will be interesting. All right.
Wow. Yeah. Dang. Well, I don't listen consistently, but every now and then, if I see a person that I really do like on the doing an interview with them, I will give a listen to that. And sometimes I catch up on little rumors or shade. The rumor report or donkey of the day. But wow, it's a new era, I guess. But that's life, huh?
When EB sends me the stuff, I watch, but because it was trending, I feel like I'm gonna try to start at the very beginning.
Girl, it's a lot.
I know, but I be needing things to listen to in the morning when I work out, when I do this and that. I love to have a podcast going. And one of my favorite podcasts, there are reasons, but basically they dropped off the face of the earth and I need to replace them. So maybe I'll listen to the Breakfast Club. I did see some hilarious clips because people were saying like their favorite moments. Evidently Ray J has some funny moments. I just know the Soldier Boy one, and who's the one who was like, put some respect on my name?
Birdman.
Yes, so
Birdman,
they definitely have given our culture like some
sound bites
great,
forever.
yes, forever. And it is kind of like a, aw, for the
Mhm.
culture. All right, well, that's how we're doing, guys. Sharika, what are we talking about today?
Um, we are talking about, and if y'all haven't seen it, just already be prepared for spoilers or put this on pause, go watch the episodes and then come back. We're talking about the most hated man on the internet. So a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago, my husband and I were just chilling on a Friday night. He was making something to eat, and I was sitting in the living room. And you know how Netflix just starts playing a preview of something? Then he was like, "Oh, we watching this." I said, "Okay." So he turns on the most hated man on the internet. And when I tell you I was locked in, I was locked in. Then I was mad. Then I was pissed. And then I was like, oh no. But then I was like, okay, all right, there's resolve. Oh no, no, there's not resolve. It was a roller coaster of emotions. It was, it was a good time. It was an interesting time. It was an upsetting time. So I was like, I got on the text and said, EB and Sabrina, if y'all have not seen this, y'all better get on the Netflix and watch it. So today we're here to talk about it. So just to give you a little brief rundown of what it was. So I had never heard of this man. I had never heard of it. The website is Anyone Up, but it was about this gentleman. I won't even say he's a gentleman. This hood, I don't even know what to call him without getting ridiculous on here. But anyway, it was about this individual, as EB would say, this individual named Hunter Moore. He created a website called Is Anyone Up? And I thought, so what he was promoting the website to be, it was supposed to be a revenge porn website. So if you were like in a relationship with somebody and you know it didn't go well at the end, or you know y'all broke up or they broke up with you and you mad, you could take all the nudes that they might have sent you in the relationship and post them on this website. And if that's not bad enough, they would then link the website, link your nudes to your regular Facebook, to your this, to your all your things. So then people will see your naked body, go over to your Facebook, be commenting, be messaging you, and just so the website was supposed to be for humiliation and all the things, just to really make people feel terrible about themselves. And I'll fill in some more, but I'll stop there. And I'll let EB and Sabrina jump in and just say a little bit of whatever they want to say at this point.
I too was surprised about this whole scenario. Well, maybe not surprised, but I'm like, people really be out here doing things in life that I just would never thought of. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, I definitely did not grow up sheltered, but there were things that the fear of God and my mother kept me from even thinking twice about. I can't imagine being in my room, one, being like, you know what I'm going to do? Let's take a picture of the boobies and just save them. I don't know, just in case. I've heard women have felt, and men have like been like, I'm in the prime time of my life. I want to know, I want to remember what this body is like before kids, before X, before Y and Z. And even myself, I have considered in my wifehood doing like a boudoir photo, but I don't travel that much anymore. And my husband sees me every day. So I'm like, am I taking the photos or am I just walking to the bedroom? I don't know. But so I was surprised by that. Just the that is something I can't really relate to, like the desire to be like, I'm just going to take some photos of myself just for me, not victim shaming, just like for me, there is a curiosity there of people really be doing that. That's like when we were in middle school, Sharika, did girls ask you if you used a mirror to see?
No.
I just remember being like, no.
Now, while you say you didn't grow up sheltered, I probably did grow up very sheltered.
Oh, you
and
definitely did.
Yeah, I'm very sheltered and to this day very naive about a lot of things.
But you did go to that private school where people were getting their nips pierced, so not too
That
sure.
is very true.
So that kind of, I don't know. I didn't have that curiosity about my body or like the need to like capture it in time. So that was the one. The two was, how do these people even know about these websites? And the three was, I just didn't have that desire when I was dating in my youthhood or my adulthood. I remember, I'm going to call my husband out, and he doesn't listen, so it's fine. When we were dating, we may or not have been a little unequally yoked in the beginning. And when he asked me for a photo, I sent him a stick figure, and he was upset. And we had been dating for probably 2 years because he already knew the vibe. So I think that's why he waited 2 years to shoot his shot. And I was traveling a lot, and he was like, are you serious? And he was like, is this what I can expect? And I was just like, absolutely, because you're not going to have me out here. I am a whole youth minister. I am a whole adult, and you have no license to this. So try again, sir. And
or
he
don't
never
try
did.
again.
And he never did, because he knew I was up. But even on his end, like, I wasn't like, I need to see that eggplant. Like, so it's hard for me to even identify with getting this content. But then even more so to think about prevent, like, that is so mean and horrible. Like, for one, I wouldn't really see myself taking a picture of myself. For two, I wouldn't really see myself sending them to anyone unless I was married. And even if I'm married, it's a Snapchat, because you're just not going to catch me slipping. And then for three, why would you do that? Like, for me, when our relationship was over, I was really like Gucci. Like, maybe 1 or 2 times I might have cried my tears, but then it was like next day, like, more fish in the sea. Like, I feel like if you are trying to get revenge, you still have feelings. Like, are people really that hateful?
Okay.
Like, it's over. Yes, EB, take it away.
No, so definitely some are hateful, but the part that got me wasn't even the ones who uploaded. It's the hacking of the emails for other people. Like, what goes through your mind of like, hey, I know people send pictures, any type of pictures, to themselves, and I say people, I don't, but that individuals out there, and maybe because Hunter Moore and I think the other guy, Charlie Evans, did, but they're sitting there going through emails, locking people out of their emails, changing the information, and then getting these pictures of these individuals. And that was the part that was really, like, all of it was sick, but that part really got me, because I'm just like, dang, like, people thinking that they sending stuff either to themselves or to someone that they trust for whatever reasons. And that's one of the things people got to remember, is like, people are flawed. So even if it is that's your boo thing on August the 10th, the day that we're recording this, on August the 10th or whatnot, but that don't mean y'all gonna still be rocking December the 10th. Like, and then that picture's still gonna be in their possession. And now they can do whatever they want because you decided to send it to them. And is it right? No, but probably wasn't right to begin with. And you should have thought about it a little more. And like Sabrina said, because I know how some of y'all be in this world, it's not victim shaming. It's just having a sense of self-awareness and, right, because this is a biblical mandate, not an EB mandate, self-control. Self-control is a big thing. But just watching that whole show was mind-boggling to me, and I don't know what other questions, so I won't dive into everything yet because I don't know what other questions we're going to talk about. But it was just wild to see how it all played out. I also, and please don't hate me for those of you who feel disgusted by the show, I don't think he was the most hated man on earth. There's a lot of other people I would put in a book.
On the internet.
On the
internet, Evie. Who's
on
more
the internet,
hated?
it's.
I would say I kind of agree because I didn't even know he was on the internet. So
that's why he's not the most hated. I didn't know he existed.
How old were we when that was happening, though?
It said it was like
2012, 2013, 2014.
Oh, dang. Yeah, we were old enough to hate him. Maybe it was in a different community.
And
I really didn't see people of color up in.
I did not see a person of color on there. I'm not saying that they weren't, but I'm just saying I didn't see one on there. But that was to your point. Somebody I was listening to talking about this said they never heard about either. And they said that's how you know the internet be like catering to different people, because I had never, and this was another person of color. They were like, I never heard about this man or this website. And sometimes that's why it do be more than one internet. We be all think we're on the same thing, but we not.
We not just like there's
the
a Black
algorithms
Twitter.
be definitely different, and that's one of the things. It was on Twitter, so Twitter is one of those places, kind of like how Instagram is now with Reels, how people can just get famous. That's how Twitter used to be back in the day. Like you could tweet something, if your hashtag is on point, like that thing can get retweeted so quick, and then people can just go, wow. And you got to think, like you're talking about basically nudity on the internet, and Twitter was always one of those places, and actually still is, where like there really is no censorship. Like you can see anything in it. Like, and I'm not saying, hey, go to Twitter for this, but like if you out here to see free porn, I can tell you it's on Twitter.
On the Twitters?
Like it's just there, and it's like,
Dang.
it's mind-boggling. And then for me, the only reason I see it most times, if not all times, is because of lovely young adults that I have the privilege of ministering to, who retweet or comment or like certain things. And I'm just like,
you know what? Now that you
private
mention it,
meetings.
EB, I won't call a family member out, but one family member did tell me they saw another family member on Twitter in a home porn video, and I said, "Oh Lord,
oh Lord."
Believe it. Shout out to that cousin, or what's the opposite of a shout out? And I'm from a small town, so come on, really?
So everybody knows. Everybody has seen it.
I forgot about that until you said that, because I was like, I just feel like, but once again, the internet will kind of cater, or those what did you say, EB? It kind of caters to what you're looking at.
Algorithm.
The algorithm,
So I see a lot of like Enneagram stuff and yoga stuff and not gonna lie, shade room stuff. So, and then I always ask my husband, because he always gets these funny, hilarious, like action stuff. And I'm like, how come I never get that on my feed? But you're right. It just caters to what you're already looking at. I do have a quick side note. Do you guys feel like as Americans, we are already too sensitive to nudity? Because obviously, if someone had done that to me, I would feel violated, and I hope I would bring the energy of that girl's mom. But also, maybe it's because I grew up in performing arts, and I'm used to being in the back of like a stage where people are changing. Like nudity never really bothered me, and I don't know why we get so hung up on it. A butt is a butt. Everybody has one. A boob is just a fatter looking butt with a nipple in the middle. Like I don't get it.
Well, I think
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I do think America does, like, we have a false sense of morality. Like we pretend like we're so scandalized, but y'all know, as y'all obviously see from the Twitter and the interwebs, y'all be out here doing all the things. So I do think that, and I think that's also why things like this do exist, because it is so it's so fetishized and scandalized. It makes, so I think that because America has this obsession with the body, they make it into more, and I'm not saying more, and don't hear what I'm not saying. Like I'm not saying that the body is not beautiful, sacred. It is all those things, but also it is a natural thing, but we make it into something more. And when I say more, I mean more. You use, people sexualize it, and it could be for that, but it's not only for that. And when people do that, then people distort it and then take it into this dark place, because it is not, it's almost doesn't become natural anymore. But go ahead. That's
so America has this mindset of being intentionally being different from the rest of the world. And I agree with Sharika, like definitely the body is it's sacred, and we see that, but also, I don't know, unless we read out a different Bible, like that's how we started, naked. So in the best way, because the human mind finds a way to be deceitful or perverted, or to have a different view on what, in the best way, what they should expect from the naked body of a male or a female or somebody who identifies as something else, then like that's between that individual in their mind. Like the rest of the world, and I say the rest of the world, but you go to other places, like nudity is not as scrutinized, or even in some cultures, and I'll speak to the origin of all cultures in Africa, it's not even fetishized. Like there is no fetish of seeing a naked body. It's like, that's sacred, what I'm looking at. And you know, that's just how people within our culture or our tribe or our nation or our community dress, to have little to nothing on. But there's nothing in person A or person B to say, I want all of that. So for us, having the multitude of fake facades that we have, and we'll get to a little bit of hypocrisy later on in the expound, but that's just how we rock. Like, we think that we have this moral code when it comes to our appearance. And that's why we see different things like catfishing, or, and I'm not saying makeup specifically, but just in general, of like having like, this is who I am, but that's not really who you are. That's who you're pretending to be. And no diss to people who wear makeup or who rock makeup. Makeup is a beautiful thing, but it's also a source of what I would call sorcery for some people, because they just be looking super different.
What?
But,
have you seen those videos? But okay, so back to the most hated man on the internet. So it's the concept of the site is just wild in and of itself. So as EB was sharing, how the story progressed is that this young lady is at her job, minding her business. She gets a call or a text from a friend and was like, "Girl, I see your news on the internet." And she was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yes, girl, on this site." So the girl goes on the site.
this site, page 2.
Dang.
Okay, yeah, you're right. She showed it to her exact page and everything. So shout out to that friend, because at least she was the friend was like, I won't say she didn't pass it around. I don't know what she was, but at least she was the one that told her. Because some of y'all foul out there be like, "Oh, I see so-and-so," and don't even be like, "Girl, you know you up here." Y'all just be sharing their business and talking about them. But anyway, so she goes and tells the girl. The girl looks on there and sees her body all out there exposed. So she calls her mom. She's upset. She's like, "Mom, they got me out here." And she was like, but the thing is, like Evie said, I never sent these pictures to anyone. What she said she did, she was in the mirror admiring her body, took some photos, and then her phone storage was getting full. And so to make space, she emailed herself photos so that she can get rid of some stuff off her phone to have more storage. Which my husband said he did. He's like, "I used to email myself stuff so I can have more storage." So it is a thing. And he didn't say the naked photos. He was just saying when my phone would get overloaded, I would email myself stuff so I could, get more space on my phone. So it's a thing that people do. And obviously taking photos of themselves is a thing that people do. But I'm not even I'm not mad at that. I'm like, you know what? If you want to admire your body, if you want to keep it between you and yourself, even if you want to send it to somebody, it's a risk you're going to take. But I'm like, do you, boo? Even though we did have a podcast a few months ago that said don't send the nudes, it is a risk that you're going to take. But you know what? It's, but you shouldn't be exploited. That's the terrible part. Anyway, so the girl said that. I was like, at first I was like, did she really not send it? Or is she just telling her mom this so she don't look crazy? Because I could not fathom that somebody would be really hacking. But hey, as the story goes on, we found out she was hacked. And as EB said, whatever the guy other name is, I don't remember, he was hacking people's emails to see what he could see, and then he would steal their phone, lock them out their emails, steal their photos, and put it up on the website. And then they be, like I said, have the nerve to link it to all your information. So your job can see it, your family can see it, everybody can see your business. And then people go over there telling you, oh, they want to do this to you, they want to do that to you because they think you out here because your naked photos are up on the internet when you didn't even send them out to anybody. So I just thought this is very deplorable. And as EB said, this wasn't the most hated man on the internet. And I agree because I didn't know him. But if I would have known that, or if that would have happened to anybody, I couldn't see why that would have been the most hated man. Not because he just did this, because yes, you might think, oh, he's trying to get a coin, which he was, but also he has 0 F's to give, 0 moral compass to do this. And people would be calling him, emailing him, messaging him, please, I did not send this. I don't know how you got this. Can you please take this down? My job is in jeopardy. My kids are out here. Oh yeah, people's kids would be on their Facebook. So like, let's say you have a picture of your kids as your profile. They would take that and put that on the naked site too. He was just awful. He did not care. People would be crying. People would, like Evie was talking about in the other situation, people were so distraught that they were like, I'm so exposed. I'm so embarrassed. they really, people were like, I can't, I was embarrassed, and I feel like people were looking at me differently. I'm losing this, I'm losing that. Everybody in my town is seeing my body. They were so ashamed, so hurt, that some people were trying to take their lives because it was just that bad for them. And this man did not care. I won't say he didn't care, but that's the way
He
okay.
literally was saying, I don't care, I'm making money. And he did that thing that is really dangerous in a person when they will refuse to take any accountability. Because if you're one step removed, you're far removed. That's how you can really get to do nasty things to people. You're not feeling it. There's zero empathy. And it wasn't like you said, him just allowing this space for people to treat on one another this way. He would encourage people to mock. So let's say they put my body, because I feel like today, if that happened to me, obviously I would be upset, but I'd be like, and yeah, that's my body. You know, like that's that. Yeah, those are my boobs. Oh, you can't make me feel bad. I'll talk about your body. You know, it's like whatever. But you know, not everybody is built that way. You know, and if you go, and I'm saying that having it never have happened to me. But I come from a family. Yes, Sharika, we know. You even say you can't take harsh jokes, but like I come from a family that was always cracking on each other. It's like it made me have a thicker skin. But if I were to go to a website and see comments after comments like, oh, one boob smaller than the other. Oh, look at her belly button. Oh, look at this. I think even a person like me, it could be like, well, dang. Really? This is so he would mock them, and to make matters further, he would post their cell phone numbers, their contact numbers, their home address, any social media that you have. I mean, watching that made me again want to take like the Facebook page that I have, that's my personal, and make it private. You know, because I'm like, this is wild. So yeah, as I was watching that, I was like, please tell me he gets his just desserts before the end. Evie, how did you feel about him?
So definitely thought that Hunter Moore and again later on knowing of, I want to say it was Charlie Evans, was terrible. Like there is nothing about them at the time, and I say at the time, in that moment, I was like, there's nothing redeeming. Like there's no redeemable quality in this. But being somebody who knows God, I beg to differ because I'm like, well, I guess God can redeem them. But the part that got me was what's her name? Charlotte, right? So when she had the opportunity,
talk about Charlotte. Go ahead.
On like, so having the opportunity to confront him on Anderson Cooper. And so in that moment, I was like, okay, maybe he is remorseful, right? Where because it seemed like I'm selling it. I know what I did was wrong, blah, blah. And then she came through guns blazing, was like, look at you, you still take it as a joke. And then in that moment, I don't know if y'all saw the same thing or saw it the same way that I saw, but I felt like he was trying his best to practice compassion, where he looked like he was tearing up, like he looked like he was like getting emotional. Like, you know, you're getting challenged by, I guess, or you're getting confronted by the person that you're abusing, and that person is not backing down. But then after, when he got back, I'm just like, oh, you little dip. Like why, bruh? Like, this what type of time you on? Like, now I got no respect for you. Like, I hope you get everything that's coming your way plus more. Because this is just wild. Like, you had the opportunity to basically just fold and be like, forget it. But then you want to ride it out and be, I don't know, just terrible to people who, one, don't know you, and people you don't know. And then continue it after knowing what you're doing is terribly wrong and just not caring that is wrong.
Yeah, and people are attempting to commit suicide or losing their jobs. E.B., when you talked about like our perspective as Christians, I think there is a part of me that wonder what happened to him, because he tried to like have this persona like he's a baller and all that jazz, but at the end, we saw like he was living with his mom. I don't know that he had a male presence in his life. And he talked about being heartbroken.
No, his dad was there. He had a dad too.
He did have a dad. So E.B., as a man, do you think like, because, and I'm just speculating aloud, like men aren't used to like always, not all men, but like dealing with their conflicts in the healthiest ways. You know, we've all heard the stereotype that when girls break up with a guy, they'll go to their friends and eat ice cream. When guys break up with a girl, they'll go sleep around with like 50 chicks to try to forget. Do you think this is just another product of our society not giving men that space to deal with things in a healthy way?
I would say, I think I would say, let me take it back. I would say society does give us a healthy space to deal with our issues. I think a lot of men feel a sense of macho nature to not want to deal with the issues that they have at hand, because some people don't like to accept accountability. And that's on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to genders, right? Some people just don't appreciate accountability. The part that got me with that and me knowing that in him was watching him, how would I word it? Oh, watching him after he got arrested make bond, and then he just sit here, cover up his face. Like, what happened to all that online talk? What happened when you was on, like what happened to all that macho, like how you want to show your face to people because this what type of time you on? Like, what happened to all of that? Because that seems to just go out of the window, like once you got locked up or whatnot. And that part got me, because I'm like, so you do know better, because it's good for you to cover yourself up when you're walking out of jail, but you're okay with just blasting, same way the mama was like, but you're okay with blasting everybody else's business out there. And that's the part that I just, again, don't respect.
I have a hot take. Yeah, and I know Sabrina is already gonna come for me, and I'm ready because I got my. So first of all, well, back it up. We mentioned the name Charlotte. Charlotte is the mom of the girl whose photos got hacked. So Charlotte wants her mom, when she saw that what happened to her daughter, she went on a war path to get her daughter's pictures taken out. And then once she saw how deplorable Hunter Moore was, she went on a war path to take him out all the way. So my hot take is I blame his parents. Now, I know this is a grown man, but Charlotte called his mom on the job and was like, this is what your son is doing. And the mom was giving no energy to this situation. And that's a problem for me, because I know he's a grown man and I know he can do whatever he wants to do, but not up in my house. You're not using my internet. Are you going to be exploiting people? No, you're not. We're not doing that. We're not playing that game. And so first of all, for the fact that you think you could do this to somebody, but then now I'm made aware of this scenario and you also don't handle. And I know, like I said, I understand this is a grown man, but when he stay in your house, he can do that out there, but you can't live in my, if somebody was like, Alan is out here doing this, I can't idly stand by and be like, well, babe, I think you should take the people's naked photos down. But if you're not, oh, well, or not say, I don't know if she said anything to him or not, but I know that lady was made aware. And now y'all want to be all stand by your son when he's out there literally talking about, oh, if people kill themselves, that's going to make me even more famous. I hope they do kill themselves. Like, what? What kind of demonic man or individual is this? Like, that is wild. But I was just like, I can't believe that this first. And then this is when I get vengeful. My husband was like, see, you're part of the problem. Because I said, somebody put his mama's naked photos up on the website.
What? Yeah. Yeah, that part I will not agree with you on.
Because it wasn't just young, lovely ladies and men. There was men on there too, but also they said there was 71-year-olds. Can you imagine your grandma on? Is anyone up naked? Like, I just can't. I'm not crying. I'm just trying not to laugh, but it is not funny. But
I don't know that he would have cared.
He would have
what
cared.
We saw of him.
He would have
cared.
He was just like
on the drugs, on the alcohol.
He was mad when they put his address up there and all this stuff. And when she called his mom, that's when he started. Was like, oh, I'll bury you and all this stuff. He did care when she reached out to his mom, but he obviously not care enough because he thought he was invincible. And that's the other thing. He really thought that nobody could get him. So he was just like, oh, if you do this to me, I'll come after you. Oh my gosh, they sent fax to Charlotte at her house talking about, I will rape you and put a gun to your mouth or head or something. He was just really deplorable. I just cannot even. And I know that was wild to be like his mom should have been up there, but also you need to know how it feels. That's terrible.
But let's not punish another innocent.
I'm in my flesh right now.
I would feel in support of him being up there.
He wouldn't care about that.
I was stuck on butthole girl.
His body out there, orgies and all that. He wouldn't care if his naked body was up there.
You're right.
That's why you got to go. I know Michelle Obama said go high, but I would have been in the gutter.
Well, I feel like at first, and I'm interested in EB's perspective on the dad's reaction, because really the whole movement against Hunter Moore, well, really the thing that caused it to gain momentum was this girl's mom. So what I loved about this documentary, it just shows like, don't F when it comes to some people's children. Because as the saying goes, you will F around and find out. And that's what Hunter did. So he tried to go for this girl. The mom and the girl begged him to take it down. But the mom was remarried to a lawyer. And when they got to the point where they wanted to bring the stepdad into it, the stepdad said it's not a big deal. He kind of took the approach I said I would take at first. It's like, take the power away from it. It's a naked body. Whatever, who cares? But after he saw that fax that Sharika talked about, where they were threatening his wife, then he made a single call to Hunter's lawyer, and the photo was taken down within 30 minutes. And the mom really could have stopped there, but she didn't. She continued. She got the FBI involved because she had done so much research when he refused to take it down, and she believed her daughter when her daughter said, I didn't send this to anyone, which I think that shows a lot about their relationship. I don't have kids yet, but I don't know that I would have initially believed them off that. I'd be like, really? Because as I shared, it's hard for me to understand a mind. And I'm not judging a mind. It's just like, I would just never take one for myself. If I want to see myself, I'll go look in the mirror, but it is what it is. She believed it and she was able to bring this guy down. But Evie, how did you feel about the fact that the stepdad at first was like, this, not my business, not my problem. And then later on, it only took one call for him to get it down.
So it was a few things when I saw that happen. One of the things was the amount of power that the dad must have had, or the knowledge that he has to be able to, find out, get in touch with the other person's lawyer and to let him know, like, hey, this is where we at with this. And if we don't make it happen, then we're going to have some problems or whatnot. And then the lawyer, get in touch with him enough and getting through his head to be like, it's going to get serious. So that was one of the things that is just like, I guess, for our school, the school that I grew up in, all of our elementary schools, the entire county, Polk County, Florida, the motto is knowledge is power. So that was one of the first things that got me, was knowledge is power. And he didn't go on this like rant with, the other lawyer or trying to go back and forth. But outside of that, it was also like did he, I don't know. It's like, I guess it's kind of like marriage, right? Like where you put, and I know the child was, I want to say she was a minor at the time, maybe. Don't quote me on that. No, she wasn't. She was an adult. Because she was out, because she was out clubbing. She was a young adult. So it just showed me the amount of love that one puts for their spouse. Because once he played with his wife, and then he was like, okay, we ain't playing these type of games, bro. Like, you already had me with my, and I don't know if it's because that's the stepdaughter or if he was like literally locked in on, like, it's not a big deal. Like, yes, okay, you got your nudes on the internet. The more noise you give it, the more attention it'll get. But once you stop talking about it, it's going to die out. So I get, in the best way, I get all sides of it. Like, you try my spouse, it's a different conversation than if you try one of my siblings or nieces or nephews, since I don't have kids now. But like watching how quick or swift, I guess that's another word to use, how swift he was to act when it came to his wife lets me know how serious, of course, some people take their marriages and their family. And it was the same thing with Charlotte, of like, she was willing to go all out for the sake of her daughter, safety involved in all. And she was willing to do the same for the other people who she didn't know, because she knew, she I don't know, she just knew the deplorable nature of this situation and the actions of Hunter Moore.
Evie, I beg to differ with you. Charles Moore did not care about his family like that, because when tell you, he did, but he did not. Because I'm telling you, if I'm hot, I'm your wife, we hot. If you coming for my child, you don't need to come for me. That is coming for me. If you're coming for my child, you have my child exposed. You have me exposed because that's my child and that's my heart. So Charles, if we at war, if I'm at war, we at war. So sir, you need to have picked up that phone. I don't care if you didn't. And I will say to Charles, a little bit of his defense. He said I was middle aged when the internet came out. He was an elderly gentleman. He said, I don't know what y'all really talking about when it comes to the internet. He was like, it didn't seem like a big deal, like Evie said. Don't give it any power. He was on that vibe. But if the vigor and the fire that was in his wife should have awakened something in him to go to action. So I'm like, sir, I mean, and maybe Charlotte is naturally or normally fiery. So maybe he thought, here she go again. I don't know that part. But I was just like, sir, if she is on fire the way she is, you better get lit too. So I was like, you better catch whatever she got and whatever energy she's on. And I'm not saying just follow people when they're being ridiculous, but I think he's more laid back person, a more timid person, and a more, let it live and ignore it. But also the way if I was that wife, I told Sabrina this, and this also might be wrong. Yes, I'm a Bible believer. Yes, I believe, marriage is sacred and strong. But also if this happened to me, I would be questioning my marriage. I'd be like, so is we married or not? Because the level of pissed I was, and it didn't even happen to me. And that's why I was like, girl, simmer all the way down. And I'm like, but the injustice that I see and how dare he, and now I'm coming to you as my partner and you like, girl, you on your own? Oh, we on my own? Oh, well then I'm really about to be on my own. Because if you're like, forget it, and I'm like, I can't, this is my child, and that's my heart, that's my love. I love my child. She's hurting, she's in pain, and I need this to stop. And you're like, oh, she'll be all right. Oh, well then we might not be all right. And that's that for me. All right, Sabrina, go ahead.
Oh no, part of me obviously is like, it is nice when I feel passionate about something that the person that I've chosen to do life with walks alongside me. I get that, but I also get that we're all so uniquely different and we all care about different things, and I can't expect everything I care about for them to handle it the same way. I have to trust in that moment, if I'm married to Charles, that Charles doesn't love me any less just because Charles wants to handle this a different way. It's kind of like one of my old supervisors who, bless, told me when Trump was elected. He stood at my door and he said, you have to understand, Sabrina, the things that matter to you don't matter to me as much as a white man. And I want it to be like, if you don't get the F out of my office, out of my doorway. But also, there's truth to that. And it's really wise for me to acknowledge that in other people. He's going to handle it differently. I will say, as an onlooker, I was annoyed that it only took a phone call for him because E.B. Hunter Moore, the most hated man on the internet, was so bold that he posted his lawyer's information. Anybody could have called his lawyer. So
they did.
And that's what I'm saying. When Charles, as E.B. alluded to, Charles had so much gravitas, which his wife knew he would, that when he called him, it took 30 minutes for that picture to come down. And after that, Hunter Moore's own lawyer was like, at that point, I was like, I need to stop effing with this guy. So I get the frustration, Sharika, because you're like, not only did you not help me in the beginning, it took little to nothing for you to help me. But Charles had different values, and his value was this, just let it blow over.
But what my problem is okay, it's like, now if if it was a petty situation, I could understand. Girl, this is too much. You're taking.
But define petty. This is the part that I feel like.
But you're talking about my
yes, and he is saying child. He loves that child too. It's kind of like, okay, I'll use Doug and I as an example. The things that upset me. Doug is such a lover of people and such a peaceful person. He will let things roll off like water. Like, how we talk about God in the Sea of Forgetfulness. I didn't really understand that concept until I met my husband. Because when I tell you, he will literally forget and something against him or against me, and I'm ready to be, I will talk about something that happened 7 years ago like it happened yesterday, and I'm ready to feel just as passionate and fight about it. But let an inanimate object not do what he wants to do. I don't even cuss. My husband doesn't cuss like that. But when I tell you, he turned into a different person. F God G D. I'm like, oh my God. So are you telling me, Sharika, like to him, that's a big deal. When the locker wasn't closing at Busch Gardens and he paid his little $125 and I was embarrassed because he's over here yelling and screaming at the locker. You're telling me as his wife, I need to be yelling and screaming too?
No, I'm talking about this is a person that we love. That's like, I don't care if like somebody like if somebody put your naked photos out there, Sabrina, without your knowledge and you are distraught, I'm distraught. Like, this is a human being.
Yes, because we share the same value in that. But honestly, like I said, if it was me, I wouldn't be that distraught. I'm like, yeah, and everybody has a naked body. You can just go on Twitter and see them all the time. I don't have like a fourth boob. It's what it is. But let somebody say they're going to do something and not do it, and now I'm pissed, and now I want to rally the thing. And Doug is like, that's just human nature. Like, why are you so mad? You know what I'm saying? Like, Sharika, I get where you're coming from, but I'm interested in Evie's opinion on this. I just believe that it is human nature for us to have different approaches to things and still care just as much.
I do agree. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I'm gonna let Evie speak, but I was saying I do agree with that. But if somebody I loved was very much hurt, even if it didn't hurt, even if I was like, I don't get it, but guess what? I'm gonna be hurt with them. We in this all the way together. They won't know where they end and where I begin, because I'm that we in this together person, and I guess that's where I differ from people. But go ahead, Evie. Go ahead. Speak your mind, buddy.
No, yeah. So I think y'all saying somewhat the same thing. It just depends on the issue. And I think Sabrina hit it on the head. It just depends on what a person is passionate about. Some people are more passionate about certain things. So you had the stepdad was just like, it's just a naked picture. Don't go all out for this. The mom is like, it's more than a naked picture. It's her body. It's her stuff. And then I trust my daughter, not believing that she didn't put this out there. So I also got to do more work to figure out, if she didn't put it out there, how many other people? Because I think that was the other part of it, right? It wasn't just this one person, but for him, he's just like, I don't know them other people. I'm telling you what to do.
He sure was.
I might be wrong, but that's the way I feel. He
did not care about them other people.
I'm just like, I'm telling you how to help you, because I'm pretty sure if he wanted to, he probably could have found some ways to do some form of legal action or legal ramifications for the entire site as a whole. But that wasn't his claim or his passion. Because it's like, that's between them and what they got. Tell them to go call their lawyer or go talk to their daddy or stepdaddy.
True,
but for me, I just need to get this picture down. And then for him also, it started out, like, you got to also think for him, it's like, I helped you get the picture down and now you want me to do more? No, that's not what we talked about. We didn't talk about taking the site down. We talked about taking our daughter's picture down. And we got the picture down. I got it done in 30 minutes. Like, why are you still giving this more fuel? Like, see, now you're getting out of character, because that's not, like, stop. And then for her, it's just like, no, this is wrong. The same thing that happened to my daughter is countless other mothers feeling this way. If she feels this way, there's countless other girls. But for him, like, I don't know those girls. Like, it is what it is. We talking about this situation and we talking about right now. So I definitely understand it and I get it. But I probably would have been on the same side as him of like, now I probably would have called the first time, like right when it say, what? I'm like, huh? Okay, boom. And then if it didn't work, it didn't work. If it worked, it would have been great.
Shout out to Charlotte, because you are the MVP, because I'm just glad there are Charlottes out in this world that will not rest until justice is served. And I'm not a Charlotte, but I'm so glad that there are Charlottes out there that will not rest till my baby's naked pictures, and I don't got no baby or no naked pictures of my baby out on the interwebs. But I felt like, you know what, Charlotte, you need a medal of freedom or something, because that is to not just care about yourself, to not just care about your daughter, but to fight for all these people out there who are being taken advantage of, who are in this desperate situation.
Absolutely.
I commend you.
we do have to shout out that Marine. He was the
Oh,
MVP.
yes.
I am so just impressed with people who understand cybersecurity and hacking. The most I understand about that is my MySpace and changing the color. I would have to go into the code and like put in like 4 zeros if I want to have pink or something like that.
Yeah.
But I love that he took that knowledge and took that guy down. It was awesome. So shout out to the Charlottes of the world and other people like that who use their power not selfishly. You know, he's like, I'm not going to advertise. Actually, I will, so I can take your whole site down. And I love that part.
Yep. All this to say, you guys need to go out. There's so many things that we've left out, so many great juicy details, but you just got to fully experience it for yourself. I know I'm like sound very passionate, and I am, because I just felt so terrible for these people, but you know what? It does end well. Not as good as I would have hoped, because I'm like throw him in the cellar and throw away the key, but he didn't go away for long. But at least he went away. And I will say this. So I feel like Hunter Moore was probably one of those people, whether he got bullied or whether he had some woman broke his heart, and now he feels like, you know what, all women are going down. Well, there was men on there too, but this is why all this to say, this is why people need Jesus Christ. And when I get to moments where I'll be like, I can't understand people, it all brings it back to, this is why people need the Lord, and this is why we all need the Lord. So I advise y'all, if you want to be entertained, pissed off, or see if you even feel any of the feelings that we feel or not, go on there and leave us a comment on our social media and let us know what you think about the most hated man on the internet.
Also, if you want any more reason not to send the nudes, let this be a discouragement to you. All right. So quote for today, Sterling K. Brown. Woo! Empathy, I know, right? Empathy begins with understanding life from another person's perspective. Nobody has an objective experience of reality. It's all through our own individual prisms. I know that's what Hunter Moore lacked. He just didn't have it, or he didn't have the courage to display it, as Maya Angelou would say. So try to understand things from another's perspective, even a person you hate, an enemy. Christians out there, the Lord calls us to love our enemies, and that can look really different. You don't have to put yourself in harm's way or anything for their, well, it does say lay down your life, but what I'm saying is being malicious, you know, like going back and getting that revenge. Trust me, as a person who's been on both sides of that, it is so much better when you let those sort of things just rest in the Lord's hand and you move on with your life. Also try to understand things from their perspective. It'll just help you be a better and healthier person. And I wish Hunter could have done that. Wow. EB, what are you expounding on today?
So it's been a while, right? And there are countless things that I can expound on, but something that really takes the cake this week is something that I think most of our listeners are fairly familiar with. Maybe you're not too familiar with somebody just like knocking on your door, serving you a search warrant, or maybe you're not used to being subpoenaed to come to court, or maybe you're not, I guess you could say, familiar with having literally all the secrets of an entire country at the palm of your hands at one time. Now, have you ever heard unannounced home raids against Black or Latino people? Have you ever heard of no-knock warrants or stop and frisk policies that pack prison cells across this country with people of color? Maybe you've heard of chokeholds such as the one that killed George Floyd, and which we know as that sparked a national protest, and it literally caused for a decent amount of the world. I won't say everybody, because there are some people who said absolutely you can't defund or dismantle the police. We even talked about that in one of our past episodes. Maybe you only heard that because of what your mainstream media have shouted, or maybe you said it yourself because you see the inconsistencies within our law enforcement, and you're like, I don't know what's going on with police. And I'm not saying we need to get rid of everybody, because we need some form of safety and control. We need people to handle, I don't know, traffic when we got accidents, all types of stuff. Police do a lot of different things, right? We need some of them, not in all places, because we saw what happened in Uvalde, but we need some of them to be ready to be in schools at, I guess you can say, the notice of some form of child massacre or shooting, where we know that they would defend the lives of those who can't in those moments. But if you haven't heard, just this past week, a lawful, I'm gonna say it again, a lawful, I'm gonna say it again, a lawful, I'm gonna say it one more time just to make sure y'all hear me, a lawful FBI search warrant was served at Trump's home here in the great state of Florida at his Mar-a-Lago estates. But once that happened, all hell breaks loose, and Trump patriots, that's what I call you people, I call you Trump patriots. You want to wage a civil war over it. Because at first it was absolutely not, we can't defund the police, but now it's defund the FBI. And that's coming from citizens all across this country. That's coming from politicians all across this country. That's coming from people who just a couple months ago was saying, we can't defund the police, and that it's okay to have unannounced home raids. It's okay to have no-knock warrants. It's okay to do stop and frisk. It's okay to do chokeholds. It's okay to use deadly force. It's okay to use tasers. Like, it's okay for all of those things on, I would say, regular civilians like myself and maybe you who are listening, because I don't know who all listens, but I don't think that it might be a celebrity out there who listens, who knows. But I'm just sitting here looking at the inconsistencies on some of our politicians. Some of our politicians, if you want to know their name, like if you're from the great state of Georgia, you listen to this, Marjorie Taylor Greene is trash. If you're from the great state of Colorado, Lauren Boebert is trash. If you're from the great state of Arizona, Paul Gosar is trash, because all of them has consistently says that we must destroy the FBI if we want to save America, because what they're doing to Donald Trump is unconstitutional. Now,
psychos.
You want to know something that's really interesting with all of this, because some people will just say, well, you know, this is only happening because this is a wild witch hunt from none other than our current president. Now, what if I told you that the White House was not notified about the raid? What if I told you that the Justice Department had to convince a federal judge that there was evidence of a likely crime in order to obtain a warrant before they had a raid on his house? What if I told you that the FBI is currently led by a lifelong Republican named Christopher Wray, who was appointed by Donald Trump 5 years ago?
Right.
And that's just in a nutshell. I'll just say it be your own people. Now, the search was related to 15 boxes of White House materials, some of which were classified, that were seized from his Mar-a-Lago earlier, that was seized from his house earlier this year. So they were like, we might have to double back because we didn't have enough time, and we got some stuff last time. Now, the part that's real funny to me is this person cares about this country so much. This person, and I'm saying this person, but for those who need to know, former President Donald J. Trump, he cares about this country so much. He cares about his constituents. He cares about citizens. He cares about patriots. He cares about his followers. He cares about those things so much. Like, why would you take classified information out of the White House and put it in your personal residence? Your personal residence is not the White House. Your personal residence is not a safe place for materials that should not leave 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And stuff like this continues to show me that there are some ride or die people when it comes to this man. And I just want to remind my people, and I say my people because I'm really talking about those of you who consider yourself as a believer, you consider yourself a follower of the way, you consider yourself as a disciple of Jesus Christ. This man will not get you into heaven. You keep on following him, it's going to be a hot burning day in hell for you and for eternity. Now, I hope you don't go that way. And I hope you don't go to that place. In the same way, I'll tell people, don't follow Joe Biden that way. Don't follow Obama that way. Don't follow either of the Bushes that way. Don't follow Clinton that way. Don't follow Reagan, Carter, and all the ones who done died. Don't follow no politician that way. Like, there's nowhere in scripture that tells me to follow politicians.
Nowhere.
But you guys are so crazy about his house being under siege and raided and occupied by federal law enforcement. These are the same federal law enforcement who y'all telling to protect the border. Now y'all don't want them. Right. And we know it's the FBI and the USCIS, the Border Patrol, who controls the border. But these are they go through the same training of federal law enforcement. This is wild to me. I need you guys to stop being hypocrites. Make up your mind. Do you want them or do you not? Now, I know a lot of people in my family, they can care less about the police because when something happens, they're not calling the police. They get robbed, they're not calling the police. They get shot at, they're not calling the police. They get shot, they're not calling the police. Something happens to somebody in our family, they're not calling the police because they want to handle these problems on their own. But it's a lot of you people, some of you people who are full support of what I would consider the Karen and the Jareds of the world, where you will call the police or you will call whoever you need to call at the drop of a dime. And I just want to know, are we defunding the police or the FBI or not? Because we can't do one without the other. I just want to know. That I think the people want to know as well, because we're tired of your inconsistencies. We're tired of your hypocrisy. And it's frustrating to me as a citizen of this, I was about to say great nation, but we know this nation ain't great. Because I'm a citizen of heaven as well, and I can't compare the two. So as a resident of this nation, I guess I'll switch it. I do got a passport so I can travel, and I am a citizen. But I'll say as a resident of this nation, we have to make sure we know what's up, because the people who you want to defund in defunding the FBI are led by people who your former president appointed. He put them in that position. So all that to say, follow Jesus, because following him gonna get you to hell. Following him gonna get you to hell. But that's all I got for y'all. Hopefully you can go do your own research and you can figure out more information. And since the stuff is classified, we don't really know what all they actually took or what all they got. But it's just funny that y'all want to defund the FBI, but y'all didn't want to defund the police. And y'all okay with all types of no-knock warrants for Black people, or like the one that killed Breonna Taylor. And shout out to the federal judges who finally have charged and arrested some of those officers who was part of that situation. But yeah, let's just be consistent. That's all. I don't ask for too much. Consistency is the word of the week. Be consistent and don't follow Trump. That's all I got.
Took the words right out of my heart and mind and soul. Can I say I'm surprised? I can't. Can I say I'm tired? Not yet. We got to stay woke, because as Beyonce said, she rolled up into the country with Dillinger's. Which, what is that, EB? Do you know? Derringers?
So what?
She said, I just rolled up into the country with Derringers, Dillingers, because some Karens just turned into terrorists. I figured it was a type of gun.
It might be.
I might be saying it wrong, but that's the kind of time I'm on. I can't get tired of them because I know they're crazy. And when they're ready to go to war, I got to be ready to fight because out of control. Is nothing enough? Was January 6th not enough? What, the 4 years of wildness not enough? What is it going to take? EB, I saw people blaming Obama.
Oh, you didn't know? Come on, man. It's always the Black man's fault.
They were like, it's Obama. He got them to raid. Okay, y'all. Wow. 8 years, no FBI raids, no adultery that we know of. You know, just a man trying to do his job. And then we got
always the Black man's fault.
Right. Sharika, what are you recommending to the people today?
Listen, I'm not shook. I'm hyped now because it is the inconsistencies for me. And I'm just like, I can't. But anyway, I'm recommending, number one, try Jesus.
Don't try me.
Try Jesus, okay? If you don't know him, try him. Because this world is crazy, and like Evie said, you don't want to end up where you don't want to end up where a place where you can't come back from. That's my recommendation. Also recommending that you guys watch the show we were talking, The Most Hated Man on the Internet, and the new podcast that I'm enjoying right now that I will recommend. If you love old school TV, I don't think I've recommended this here, and if I did, forgive me, y'all, but this is what I'm thoroughly enjoying right now. I loved me some Boy Meets World. That was one of my shows growing up. Still one of my shows low-key today that I will be watching in the background that just gives you joy and good times. But the cast of Boy Meets World, some of them, the one who plays Sean, Eric, and Topanga, they have a podcast called Pod Meets World. And if you are into Boy Meets World, 90s shows, all that, check them out. It's really a good podcast. Some of my rewatch podcasts that I watch, they're not that great, but this one is actually really good. And they talk a lot about behind the scenes stuff, not just of their show, but just like industry stuff, like about acting and what it means to be on set and the different people who work on TV sets and writers and all this stuff. So it's really very interesting. So it's an entertaining but interesting and educational podcast, which I didn't expect. So it's called Pod Meets World. And your girl, I wrote on their Instagram, and guess what? Your girl Topanga Danielle Official responded to my message, and she wrote a little thing to me that I did screenshot low key. But yeah, so check out Pod Meets World.
Love it. I used to love that show growing up. So I might, run it back. But I have so many shows to watch. I'll just add that one back to the list and the podcast, because that's what I did with Insecure, which is that my recommends. It wasn't going to be, but I guess it is. I said I was going to do throwbacks all summer, and I didn't stick to my word when it came to the music because I had to shout out Beyonce. But I guess I'll do Insecure. Insecure is a beautiful show. I started following Issa when she had a show on YouTube called Diary of an Awkward Black Girl. And my sister and I just felt that show to our soul. It was hilarious. And from there, her success has really picked up, and she landed a show on HBO, and she named it Insecure. One of the things I love about it is it reminds me so much of just some of the cultural shows I watched growing up, like A Different World and Moesha. And I felt like, okay, this is when I can see a reflection of my culture on TV. And I feel like now this is like my generation's version of Girlfriends, which was another show that just showed Black people so beautifully in all of our complexities. And it wasn't just having like that one Black friend or that one like stereotypical Black character. And I especially love the hairdos on that show. Like, as a natural girl now, I love seeing all the options there, and just the friendships between Black women. I don't think we see it enough in a positive light on screen. So if you want to dive into that, please do. And it's hilarious too. It's great. They cover a lot of like heavy topics in a really mature way, and a lot of great things about just Black culture. Great in that show. I will do a warning. It is HBO. There are, I think, every season probably 1 or 2 scenes of nudity in there. You can close your eyes, avert your eyes, as my mother would say, if that's not your thing. But I do think, I'm talking to you guys like I'm still a kid, because I just, what was like hounding to me as a kid. But I'm 35 and I'd be 34. Golly, I aged myself. I'm 34 and I'd be enjoying the Insecure. It was great. EB, what do you got?
Since I won't say we're all over the place, but got a nice show or a nice podcast, which was a dope show. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. I ain't gonna hold you, but back in the day, I used to have a crush on Topanga. Topanga was that back in the day. To watch that show just about every day. But my show is, I'm gonna continue with the most hated man on the internet, as far as having something a little dark, a little different, a little gloomy. But it's a Netflix special, and I say special, Netflix show. It's only 3 episodes. All of them are under an hour. They float around the 30 to 40 minute realm. But it's I Just Killed My Dad. What lengths would you go to show somebody, I guess, you don't agree with their form of abuse? And it goes through the court case and all the trials and the lawyers and all the good stuff, and how family handled situations or whatnot. But just 3 quick episodes, and I say quick, but like 30, 40 minutes or so, where a son killed his father after abuse, alleged abuse. You don't see it happening, but you hear about it. But yeah, so if you're interested, it's a true crime. And I know some of y'all out there be all in onto true crime shows and podcasts and all those good things, knowing all the deets, as the kids would say. Drop me the deets. And then you can just say details, and it'll just be just as much. But if y'all want to check it out, I encourage you to check it out. And that's all I'm recommending for you. I don't got nothing else for y'all this week. Anything else y'all want to close out with?
Just glad to be back with my people.
All right. Well, you already know what it is. It's 3 of your favorite people. It's the kickback. If the FBI ever run up in your house, that means you're probably, let me stop. If the FBI ever run up into your house, but I mean, you probably did something wrong. But if life tries to knock you down, make sure you kick back. Donald Trump, kick back. That's all I got to say.